Hi, this is Phaydra. I'm going to do another updated video on how to install Elvui in World of Warcraft. I'm coming to you this time from the Shadowlands beta, installing version 11.52. So I'm going to jump right in here. When you first see this screen pop up after you install Elvui, then you go through the process of setting up CVERs, and then if you want to, you can set up chat. This will be a shared profile, and I'm hitting Classic for the theme setup, and you can hit the auto scale. It'll automatically set it to whichever scale, and mine is set at 0.71. You can manually move that around and preview it if you want to change it. This toon is going to be a healer, so I'm hitting the healer button, and then I like to use icons only for auras. Then you're going to hit the finished button and it'll reload your screen. Alright, so when you need to open the Elvui window, you just hit type /Elvui. The menu screen has a lot of different options over on the left here, different menus, and then along the top is where you'll find different sections within those menus, so whichever one you currently have selected. Along the bottom is some more of the macro level settings, like toggle anchors, and I'll show you that later. In the general section, when you first install Elvui, you'll probably have a bottom panel showing, and it's just a gray bar that appears at the bottom of the screen, and I uncheck that because I don't want to see it. Here is where you'd find auto repair, so you can select guild or player or none. And also, if you don't have an add-on such as RSA, which is the one that I like to use, then you can set it to announce your interrupts in party or say or raid, etc. right here. Just about every screen that you go to, there's going to be enable buttons, so you can enable or disable certain features as you please. This would, if I unchecked this, it would unenable class totems. You can also change the button size for each type of thing you're looking at. So if I change the button size here, it would only change it for class totems. It wouldn't be like an overall button size setting. Alright, let's go down to action bars. Action bars is where you would find your player bars here, 1 through 10, so these are your spell bars. And by the way, if you click and drag this window, you can move it around your screen so you can see things that are behind it. Bar 1 is actually this bar right here, and currently it is set to 8 buttons, but if I wanted to, I could change that to 12 buttons. There are 12 buttons, but a couple of them are hidden behind the player frame right there. If you're like me and you have a Naga mouse, a Razer Naga mouse, then you might want to show your spellbar as a 3x4 grid. So the 12 buttons are in a 3x4 grid now, and these are very large buttons, size buttons, so I changed that to 32. But if I wanted to, I could actually type in the number there if I don't want to move it around manually. And you can also change the space between the buttons. On bar 1 is the one that changes based on my stance that I'm in. So it'll show basically spell bar 7 whenever I am not stealthed and in normal form. Then it's going to show these other spell bars here based on if I'm in cat form, bear form, etc. You can change your spell bars individually if you want, so you can turn on mouse over, which means you will only see the spell bar if you're mousing over it at that time. And then here is where you can also change your pet bar, stance bar, micro bar, and such. If you go back to the general tab for action bars, this is where you'd find your keybind modes, so you can change your key bindings that are assigned to each of your spell bars. Under bags, this button right here will enable or disable the all-in-one bag. I like to disable that because I'm not really fond of it. If you hit the B button, that's the all-in-one bag. It shows all of your bags combined. So I'm going to uncheck that, It's going to ask me now if I want to reload, but I'm going to hit cancel and do that later. Bag bar is something that I like to use, so I will hit the enable button, and again it wants me to reload, so I'll cancel that for now. This is also where you will find your vendor grays option, and this is something I like to enable because automatically as soon as I go to a vendor, it will get rid of all the grays in my bag, so I don't have to do that myself. Skipping down to chat. Right now you see there's a left chat panel and a right chat panel visible. If I hit the panels here and change this panel backdrop, I can show the left only, and that gets rid of the right chat panel. Skipping down to data text. Here, panels, there's a data text panel left. That's what appears under this chat bar or chat window. The data text panel right was below the right chat window. And then minimap panels are the ones that appear here. Since I no longer have a right chat bar, I'm going to click on data text panel right and disable it so it's hidden now. And I'm also going to change, I like to have guild and friends here, but the third one that I want to appear is gold. So here I have those three. And then up here under the minimap I have system and time selected. I'm going to jump down to unit frames here. There's general, individual units, and group units. Individual units, you can change settings with your player frame, your target frame, target of target frame, target of target of target. So there's a lot of different options here that you can change. And then under group units, that's where you would change your party frames, and then your raid frames, raid 40, tank assist, all that. And under profiles is where you can enable your spec profiles, so each time you're in a different spec you'll see a different profile that you've created. Right now in Restoration it's on the default, but I can change this to Phaydre-Darrowmere. Keep in mind that if I do that, if I have another tune that has the Phaydre-Darrowmere spec, or sorry, profile selected, any changes that I make to the profile on this tune or that tune will also apply to the other tunes that are using that same profile. So sometimes what's better, if you select this one, is to copy from. That way this tune has its own profile, but I can copy the settings from default. And it'll ask, are you sure you want to do that? And I'll hit yes, accept. So now the settings from that one are now in this profile as well. The last thing to really show here is toggle anchors. This is how you would move around your different screens or windows in here. So right now I have my raid frames are over here, but since this is a healing tune, I probably want them to appear more centralized. So I'm moving around the spell bar to get it out of the way so I can move this down here. And notice how this kind of jumps around the screen. What it's trying to do is lock it to another spell bar. But if you want to stop it from doing that, you would uncheck sticky frames. And then you can move it however you want. It's not going to try and snap it to another window. That is basically it for the major stuff that you would probably want to set. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comment section, and I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you.